Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you out to
Hello.
Let's Talk again.
Hey.
As you can see, we have a whole panel today. We coming. We're serious today. We got a whole panel. So y'all go through just a quick introduction, real quick, so everybody knows who y'all are.
Okay. I'm Marcella. This is my husband Eric.
I'm Lisa.
Okay.
I'm Roxy DeWitt Dawson, and I'm the newcomer. Wife, military wife, retired wife of 40 years. Um, I am a self-published author, a marriage and family uh, therapist, professional, and just a host of other things because I just believe in trying to help others live life and live it more abundantly.
Amen.
All right, so I'm Tisha, fitness and nutrition coach. Been doing that for about 6 or 7 years now. Recently certified in December. Whoop, whoop. Look, so fresh off of teaching a group fitness class, so I'm glistening. Look, and hyped up and ready to talk today. So I'm a mother of a one son and just excited to be on here and be able to talk about life with a great group of people. Thank y'all for always having me.
Okay. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, today our show is: Are we living or existing? So I'm gonna go ahead and ask that question to everybody. Just let me know if you're living or existing. Starting with, like I said, we're gonna stay in the order that we see each other on the screen. So Eric, Marcella, are y'all living or existing?
We're living.
Definitely living.
Okay. Lisa, are you living or existing?
Living.
Okay. Ms. Dawson, are you living or existing?
Well, I have to be real honest. So, I am 61 years old, and you all haven't heard my story, my testimony. But at one point, I was just existing because of the amount of trauma that I've experienced in my life. And just recently, I'll say, after the death of our second son, we just lost our second son 2 years ago, a 32-year-old. I truly then realized that it's crucial to not just exist, but to learn what living truly means. So I would say I'm now living.
Okay. All right.
Because I think at any given day we could be doing both. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Some days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm living. I can honestly say that I'm living, but I agree with Roxy. For many years I was existing, and this was a topic near and dear to me. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of throw out there for the group off the top is, if you're existing, are you thriving solely on your personality? If you're living, have you learned that living requires you to develop your character? So does living require a balance of both? But I think when I was existing, I was living solely off of my personality. And so as I've embraced living, I've walked closer with God, and then that has started to develop my character, and I have a balance now between my personality and my character. So that's what's causing me to feel like I'm living right now.
Take us to school.
Well, I think that's one of the things that we all have to look at. Like, look at the different things and what kind of puts a person in a state of mind that they're just existing. What type of things you think would cause a person just to exist? I know, just like I said, what type of things, what do you see in 2023? What does existing mean?
For me, I think just getting up every day and figuring out what your day is going to be instead of having things planned out. I think also when you just exist, when you do have trauma in your life, you use that as a pawn to continue to feel sorry for yourself, and you hold on to that. And so you figure that, you know, hey, certain things in my life happen to me, and if you can't like get over some of the things that happen to you, and you continue to feel sorry for the things that happen to you in your life, then you just existing because you feel like, you know, what am I living for? What am I living for? And I think for me, as far as living, the reason why I say I'm living now, because like I said, I think we all, whenever Roxy said that, and even Tisha said that, I thought I took me aback just a few minutes ago, and I said, you know what, I existed as well at one point in my life too. So I don't think that we all just lived our whole life. I think we did exist with certain things that happened to us in our life. And I think now when I say that I'm living, it's like, because I'm taking care of me now. I'm making sure I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? My mental health, my physical health, everything. Because when you take care of everybody else and you put yourself on the back burner and you don't take care of yourself, I think you're just existing. You're existing for yourself, but you're living for other people. So I'm living now because I'm taking care of me now, making sure my mental health is okay. So that's why I say I'm living.
Okay.
Well, it's like Tisha said, it's a balance. You learn to balance. I'm living because I balance it. We've all gone through the existing state because we were imbalanced. But once we learn to work both for them to work together, we achieve balance. That's when you start living, because it's gonna come a point where you're gonna be existing, because you can't control life. You can be living today and existing tomorrow. It's about how you weather the storm. That balance you had prior to that existence, then that allows you to be able to go through the storm, where the sun will rise in the morning. That's you have to learn how to balance the two. You have to. It's very important for balance, because you end up going from living to existing. It don't make you a bad person. It just means you're human. You're going through the storm. The true test is to be able to get back to living.
I agree with everyone, and as Roxy pretty much shared my story a little bit, as well as most of y'all on the panel know, my son was gunned down June of last year, and he was my only. And I could have stayed stuck right there, but because of my relationship with Christ, is what kept me to thrive. Not only do I have grandchildren that were there and that were that needs not just their mother but their grandmother that's close to their father, but I realized through all of this trauma, because we all, like you said, all of y'all said it, we've all been through something. No matter what the trauma is trauma. And I'm learning through this trauma, I have to do more than exist. I have to live. And one thing I did share with my son prior to all this happening is he said, I don't like the way you walk. I don't like the way you move. And I'm more zealous now to do something about my activity, my health, my well-being overall. And because I'm taking care of Lisa first, I'm living. Because I took care of everybody else. I have aging parents. My mother be 87 in 2 weeks. My father be 89 in a couple of months. And not only taking care of them, my backbone is no longer here. My son helped me with a lot of that. And even though I have siblings here, grown nieces and nephews, they're about themselves. So I have to make a balance in everything to make sure my parents' well-being is taken care of as well as my own. And so I'm thriving to live more for Lisa as I mature in age, because it's necessary. My voice is not only necessary. What I'm going through and what I have been through is necessary for my voice to be ringing in the earth, not just to be saying, woe is me, and pulling my thumbs or doing my lip. I can't do that. It's time out for that. I have to let the voice be heard of why we should do what we need to do as far as gun violence, what we need to do about that. My voice needs to be heard about not only just gun violence, but just any other trauma, because like again, we all been through something. We all got a story. You know, I'm an author as well. We all got a story, but it has to be heard through the earth because we're on an assignment. And if our assignment's not fulfilled, then we just only existed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I may just add to what Lisa said, and Marcella, is that right?
Yeah,
Marcella?
Marcella, yes.
You know, some people do get on maybe what Marcella, I think
Marcella,
Marcella
yes.
said. Some people may get on a pity party type thing or woe is me, as Lisa said. But then there are others, where everybody has a different tensile strength, which is,
Mhm.
everybody's not able to just pick themselves up and encourage themselves. And so I can only use my example.
Mm-hmm.
This was my second son to die tragically. We had three sons. The first son, the 4-year-old, died in my 5th-year marriage. I was 25 years old. And I let him go. My husband was still in Germany. We were over there 3 years. I'm not going to take up all the time. But that was my first book that I wrote about, Silence by Arms. Y'all can go to my website or it's online. And my husband PCS to Fort Bragg, and I came home 2 months early with a 8-month-old and a 4.5-year-old. My mother down in Tabor City, which is like you're going to Myrtle Beach, came up here and begged me for the 4-year-old to come and visit her 1 week because we've been out of the country, y'all, 3 years. I never came back. So I'm like, I don't know. He's never been away from me. So I was hesitant as a young mom. Let him go. And the first time I let my child go, he was killed. And so you're talking all trauma. I know what you're saying, Lisa, but all trauma is not the same. You got complex trauma too. I'm writing a book about trauma right now. And so, you're talking about a 25-year-old military wife here, didn't know anybody basically. My in-laws were here in Fayetteville. And my husband's still in Baumholder, West Germany. I'm coming home in the middle of a move and our child dies. So, at that point, I really asked God, what else do I have forward to? What can I possibly have in life that could make my life better if this happens to me at 25? So I had to make a conscious decision to keep going. And so it is one of those things. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people do use excuses. They look for excuses to quit. I've always been a go-getter, I feel, and the 6th out of 7 children. And so all I know was keep going. And so fast forward, that child dies in my parents' bedroom, accidentally shot by a little 6-year-old boy cousin. As they played hide and seek in my parents' bedroom, our son went to go hide in my parents' closet and found my dad's shotgun. 33 years later, the son that I had the next year, the year after we lost the 4-year-old, my baby boy out of 3 sons died here on Cliffdale Road, Labor Day weekend 2020. A 1-car accident. Hit a utility pole, trying not to hit somebody else. So at that point, when the second child died, and I've been a believer for over 30, 40 years, I literally wanted to walk away from God. Because when we talk about living and existing, if life hits you hard enough, you feel all you can do is exist. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. I just got through doing a post today on Facebook. I have a master's degree in counseling. I know all kind of coping skills. I can go on. And I literally almost gave up after my second son died. So I know if I was affected like that, imagine the people who don't have excellent coping skills, don't know the current interventions. I knew all that. I'm a trained trauma specialist. And none of that stuff helped me when I had to go pick out the second casket.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is such a major, important topic. I'm so glad. I don't know who picked it, Mario.
No, it was just
Tisha, kudos to you. You get the flowers today. Because that's where we are, especially after the pandemic. Some people really are just existing. Some people still haven't even gone back to work. Mental health is off the charts. So this is such a timely topic because, like I said on my post today, it's on Facebook and it's on IG. And this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I'm not going to take up all the time on the panel, but I'm telling you, for one straight year, I was in shock. Just graduated with a master's degree in marriage and family therapy and could not counsel anybody. The son that died actually had encouraged me to go back to grad school after I'd been out 20 years. And he saw me graduate in May and died 3 months later. So yeah, there are times where you got to pull yourself up and this is how I kept going, and I'm gonna stop. Because I felt like giving up. I'm serious, y'all. Not suicidal, but just felt like, who can I help? I don't want to help nobody. I certainly don't want to go in no church and encourage nobody. I was angry at God. I'm like, how could you allow? All I had prayed all my life, and I believe y'all are mothers. I don't know if you are. Mother's Day coming up. All I had prayed all my life is for God to protect my children. That was my number one prayer. And I just watched my children start vanishing. So I had to make a conscious decision after year 2 to keep going. And now everything within me says, I've got to live because this is a dark world. And I am determined to leave as much light in this dark world as possible to honor my sons. And y'all, I'm gonna let y'all talk now.
Well, and that kind of brought it home to part of why I picked the topic, because it was your character that sustained you through your grief. That's what sustains us through our grief, because I heard it to be said this past Sunday that character must be forged. You have to walk with God. You have to go through things to build a true character and be able to have a character that can stand the test of time. It doesn't say that you won't have dark days. That's when you sometimes find yourself and hear God. The best is when you're alone, when you're in the wilderness. So all things have a purpose. They don't always manifest themselves initially. But just imagine, like Lisa was saying, and like Roxy was saying, how many people you guys can help directly. I can't go out and necessarily counsel someone who's lost a child. I haven't lost a child. I don't know what that feels like. I can talk to someone who's lost a parent. I know what that feels like. So, unfortunately, sometimes in what we go through, that's a hardship is sharpening us to sharpen those people who are not strong enough to live after something like that, because most people would have killed themselves, committed suicide over less. So, but it was because of the character, who you were, who you believed in, who you walked with, who you trusted. God didn't ever say it would be a perfect walk. He said, but will you trust me? I've been pissed off. I've been cussing in here. God, I've had multiple friends to die back to back this year. Wow. Back unexpectedly. One friend, we buried her husband. 35 days later, she was dead. So we go through that. But the biggest thing I think we need to stop doing is beating each other up for being human. And we need to know that we have people that we can turn to when we're going through those type of emotions, because when you've taken the courses and you know what to do, that crap goes out the window when it's you and your situation. Because I was in here telling God, I'm about sick of this, and the blah, da. It was on and popping up in here. And I was like, as far as I'm concerned, God, me, you can be done with this. Like, I'm over you. Like, this is over. And the Holy Spirit started speaking to me and saying, you've been thriving off of your past, off of your personality. You've allowed your personality to carry you, not your character. Your character is stronger than your personality. So it's time that you start living and not just existing off of what works and what's comfortable, but living even through the pain. So even though it hurts, you got to live through that too to get to the other side. Because we wouldn't be here talking about this today 2 months ago because I was in a dark place. I was just in a place of I'm tired. I'm tired. I told them I was tired of my screwed up family. I was sick of them. I was just over everything. Okay. But again, our character is forged through our walk with God. It is not one of the spiritual gifts. Character is not a spiritual gift. It's something you got to live and it's got to be developed. And like I said, kudos to you and Lisa. I'm sorry for y'all loss of your children, but now y'all can help some people. Y'all's character was already there. It was strong enough to be able to pull somebody else out of existing to living because they see you living, right? That's how I look at it now. I live because I know what it's like to only exist. And so I too am in the middle of writing a book. It's called The Unicorn.
Okay.
How to Stay Magical in a Dark World. And Marcella has had the pleasure of going through some of the because it's a self-help book. So she's went through some of the questions and dug a little deeper into some stuff. But we've got to have these conversations so that we can get to a healed place. Because I don't ever, and so the reason why I chose fitness and nutrition coach is because your inside has to match your outside. Mm-hmm. So many of us are covering up what's on the inside because we're putting on a pretty. And I saw it during the pandemic. I was working as a life coach at a counseling business, and we had to do surveys for the police department in Columbia. And so many people had on a mask, not just the physical mask. And what I call the pandemic is the adult timeout. That adult timeout, people aren't used to being alone. Some people don't know how to be alone. That adult timeout creates some things, anxieties in people that it takes people like us to be able to say, listen, I'm supposed to be the professional. And I had to go to a different place to find myself after the adult timeout. Do not be ashamed, because it's the shame that keeps people from asking for help. Mm-hmm. Okay, so be real, or to help people, you got to tell them about how you only existed too. You can't just be out here. Oh, I'm just living now. Yes. No, that ain't how this happened. This has been a journey.
That's right.
So that was just the background. I'm sorry for taking up time.
Well, me, I'm gonna say this. I would say mine is a little bit different. Because like with me, I recognize it at a young age that, and I think that's when I started to live. Is like when God answered one of my prayers, He delivered. Like say, He delivered me from a bad situation where I know some of y'all know my story. Where I was homeless. We were homeless for 3 years, and so when God delivered us from that. He like my father got custody of me, and from that point I started living life. And it's like when you're going through something like being homeless, you're just existing. And as a child, of course, you don't know anything. All you know is you get into a routine of just surviving throughout the day. Like all you're focused on is just your basic survival things. So didn't understand what life was until I was rescued from that situation. And from that point, God, He answered my prayer. And I like to say, if you pray, I will do the best and be the best person on this earth. And so I was able to, He gave me that, and I lived that to the fullest. And I gave back. I did things to help other people. I went way and beyond to be exactly what I said I was going to be if He answered my prayer. So I was living life. Don't get me wrong now, I got knocked down a couple of times, bad relationship here and things of that nature. But overall, I was living my life to the fullest. And then, of course, you go through some stuff, you have a situation where you have a mental breakdown, you get delivered from two combat zones, I mean, combat and war, and then you come back and you still have a piece of your mind. You don't have all of it, but you have a part of it. So it's kind of like one of those things to where you're blessed, you're thankful for everything that's happened. Because for me, I look back, my life could have ended a long time ago,
Mhm.
but I'm still here. So that's why I say I'm able to live life to the fullest, because I know my life could have been taken away from me a long time ago. It could have been taken away from me twice in a combat zone, but guess what? I came home. So for me, it's like I live life to the fullest because I know at any given time, my life can come to an end. So at that point, like I said, at a young age, I learned to, no matter what I do, I'm going to do the best I can and live my life to the fullest.
Mhm.
So sometimes that tragic or those bad situations is a wake up call
Mhm.
to something that was going on deep down inside of you,
Mhm.
that you couldn't control. A lot of times, what puts us in a bad state of mind is stuff that we can't control, and it upsets us even more. It's where it messes with us mentally
Mhm.
because we're trying to figure out why.
Mhm.
And then once we get past that stage of why, then we're trying to figure out what's next.
Mhm.
So for me, I learned at a young age, yeah, you answer my prayer. I'm I got home, got there from my father. I got straight A's in school. I did everything I did to my fullest. I gave my fullest potential to be the best person I could be.
So it see here's the thing. We are taught to I guess you could say skip a step, but you got to go through the whole process in order to come out on the other side. You
Mhm.
can't live without first existing.
Mhm.
Everybody goes through stuff. Everybody has a trauma. Like me, going to bed hungry, seeing friends pass on. The war zone. The war zone is not the combat. The war zone is the coming back.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
trying to process back into society.
Mhm.
It's because when you in combat, you know what to do. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I gotta do. This is what I gotta do. Cause I'm gonna come home and my soldiers gonna come home. This is what we gotta do. And you set into that pattern. And you do that pattern for 9 months to a year to 18 months. The combat zone ain't the issue. It's the getting back into society.
Yep.
Is it coming back to society? That's the hard part because
Yep.
there's as much as 18 months of you not being in your child life. See, when you got there was a beautiful little baby. Now this child is 18 months old. You daddy, but you get back, that baby see you. You know you not daddy. I don't know you.
Mhm.
I don't know you. It broke my heart when I was gone for just 3 months to school and came back. And that grandbaby of mine looked at me like I was a stranger. He hid his hand in his head. He hid his hand in his. He put his eyes in his hands and he just cried. 3 months is a long time in baby time. That's a long time.
Mhm.
And that is the situation that you have to deal with when you come back. That is the war zone, trying to get back into society. Another war zone you got to deal with is when you retire. When you do like me and you did 26 years right out of high school, not knowing nothing, you step out on faith.
Mhm.
It's you have to exist in order to live. And just because you living don't mean you won't go back to existence. It's like you said, it's about your character. It's
Mhm.
how you pull through it. And if you have excellent character, you attract people of the same type, which means that when you go through your existence stage, there are people that's willing to come through. They're your prayer warriors. They're your people that's gonna sit there and cry with you. I haven't experienced what you've been through, but I am here for you. I am here. I'm a shoulder to cry on. I'm somebody to cry with. But I don't want you to just go fall into the existence state. What can I do to help? Can I clean for you? Can I cook for you? Can I do whatever I can do to help you get through? Because I said that prayer too. Lord, if I don't have to starve again, whatever I will do it. I will, boom, armed recruiter came through. I said, well, I prayed for it and you gave it to me. Yeah, I do an arm. I go ahead and do that. And ever since then, I made a promise to myself: I will never start again. Never again will I go through that again. No. While you're existing, you have to first acknowledge that yes, I am existing. So you can start putting the steps together to be able to come through and start living. Now you're not gonna. Somebody said earlier, you haven't been living your whole life, and that's true. And if you think that, you're sadly mistaken. Everybody has trauma. Everybody on this panel can tell you a story about trauma, and everybody's trauma is different. But we are living because we existed, we acknowledged it, and because Tisha said, because of our character, we was able to pull through and say, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm not gonna do this forever. I want to live." And you take those steps forward to be able to do so. It just dawned on me. This topic we talking about, it'd have been good to have some young folks sitting here and listening, so they don't think we just getting on their nerves. They can hear that we actually been through, we've gone through, and now we're living. That's why we're trying to teach you, or try to stop you from going through what we went through. We're not trying to get on your nerves. We're just here to try to help you to keep from going through it. So
Eric, I'm glad you said that, because that was my next question to the panel is, what do you think, what's contributing to our youth today that caused them to think that they're just existing and not living? What do you think are the major factors that are causing? I mean, because think about it, when we all grew up, we were like mentally tough. I would say it that way. Today, that mental toughness is not there anymore. So what are those factors y'all think now and today? What are contributing to today for people to just think that they're just existing and not living?
A lot of people are fairy tale parenting. They're not parenting from a real perspective, because I don't want to just limit this to young people. There's people our age that have not endured or suffered through anything, and everything in their life and their mind has been perfect. And when you think that you've had a perfect life and you're used to everything going your way, you're not going to be able to identify with what it takes to really live. Those people rely solely on personality and things going their way to live. They haven't had to go and decide any type of hardships. There's people out there that have never been hungry. There's people out there who have always felt love. There's people out there who always get their way. And guess where they always land up and end up at? In somebody's therapy session, because those are the people that are ideal for having nervous breakdowns. So what we ended up doing was we created a society, and I watched it unfold, where we didn't want our kids to suffer what we suffered. And so we undid a lot of things that were there for foundation and protection for us to be able to thrive and survive in this society, because we can't, our coping mechanism cannot be equal to that of our Caucasian counterparts. Our life does not function that way. It's a distinction there. It's a division, whether we want it to be there or not. If it's invisible for some, great for them, but I see it very defined in the world. And I teach my son that. A lot of people took that line away and said because it was invisible, it didn't exist. So now you've got these kids that are in this society who feel, one, they're entitled because we give them everything they ask for. Two, they don't understand, hard work, because everything for them is a microwavable situation. It's in real time. It's in real life. We didn't have that. We went outside and drunk from the water hose. You had the street light to tell you. These kids got Apple Watches, Apple phones.
Yes.
I'm just saying, everything is given to them. They work for nothing. We worked. I've been working since I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these children don't even have driver's license nowadays. They don't even want them because We taking them around in our fancy cars.
Ooh,
If I didn't go get my license, I was walking in the hot sun on Yakin Road to the Winn-Dixie over there, to the Ponderosa Elementary over there in that area. I was walking my happy tail from Cottonade every day over there to that Winn-Dixie, okay? So I hurry up and got my driver's license because I didn't want to walk in that Fayetteville, North Carolina sun, about to die, literally, to the Winn-Dixie, okay? But we're giving them a pass. We get everything. They press their easy button. That's it.
That is why too, and that is why too, whenever you do have those type of conversations, you know, we're raising our grandson and he's 17 now. And when you do have those type of conversations with them, it's like they get the attitude just real quick because it's like we're speaking a different language because like you said, they are so used to, you know, getting everything or social media, like you said, cell phones and stuff like that. Like you named some things like the street light told us the time to be in the house or even in front of a house. You know what I'm saying? We drinking water out the spigot. You know, they got microwaves. We had to put our food in the oven to warm our food up. So when you was hungry, it took extra time because the oven had to warm up. Yep. Then you had to put the food in the oven. Then you had to turn it over in the oven.
Too hot, or the oven was
you know
too cold. You had to learn that sweet spot.
And so they don't understand that. And so, like you said, it's like, you know, in our household, you know, we establish rules and stuff like that. And, you know, whether you want to hear it or not, there's going to be structure. And I think there's a lot of structure missing out of the households as well too, because of the fact that, again, you don't want your children to go through some of the things you went through. But like Mario said, we were tough growing up. You know what I'm saying? We could just we knew how to stand up for ourselves and stand toe to toe, and we wasn't easily to be influenced. You know what I'm saying?
Be gone all
and so,
day.
No.
And then you have parents, you have babies that's raising babies, and then not only you have young parents, but then you have the parents trying to be the friends of their children and stuff like that. So that's a whole lot of that dynamic going on and stuff like that. And so that's why you try to teach and you try to instill with your children that you're raising that, you know, it's more to life than you just waking up every day and somebody just handing you something. You understand what I'm saying? Because until you have to pay a cell phone bill, until you have to pay rent, light bill, whatever the case may be, this is what you think life is. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
So I guess I'm just I'm not confused, but how is that? Are y'all saying we're setting them up to just exist then and not live?
No, we're setting him up to live. I was just speaking on when we have those type of conversations. You know, like I said, there's structure in my household. You understand what I'm saying? There's structure and there's things that we are teaching him because to me, I feel like this. If the only way that your children can have examples where it starts at home first. You understand what I'm saying? You can sit here as a parent. Like my mom used to always tell us, just because a parent is in the household, that don't make you a parent. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I was saying. So yeah, and like I said, a lot of times these teenagers don't want to hear the things that you got to say because they just feel like this is the real world. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the Apple Watches and, you know, a lot of them don't drive. So can you take me here? Can you put money in my account? That type of thing. But like I said, yeah, we're teaching that because the way me and my husband live and how we grew up and stuff like that and how we're living now, it's like we were taught. And so I think we would be neglectful to our children and our grandchildren if we don't teach those things to them as well.
I think what Roxy was asking was what Mario was saying.
Right.
But it is teaching them to only exist if you're not holding them accountable and there are no rules. And if you make them think that everything is given to you. Okay. So that's what, so we're talking the exception because you guys are living, y'all learned how to live, you're teaching how to live.
We're talking. I think what it is like what I was saying. What I'm saying is that because we're making it too easy for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. We're making it too easy because think about all the things that we're doing. Of course, we didn't have a lot of stuff that our children have. Okay, or our grandchildren. So it's like we came up out of poverty. And and one of the things in the back of our mind is we wanted to make sure the next generation was set up for success.
Mhm.
And that success to some people, not all, was materialistic things.
Mhm.
Right.
And by giving those materialistic things to them, did we set them up for just to exist or for living?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right, that's right.
What's the connection here between? That's what I was trying to get
Right.
at.
That's
Yeah.
what you that's the question. I knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like,
I knew
but
what
that's
you were
what, but that's
Well,
one
no,
of the
I
things.
understood it.
Because that's why I was saying giving out everything. Like I said, if you make your child walk in this heat, I'm down in South Carolina now. Bryson, if he decides he doesn't want license, he can't have the privilege of riding in my car. You're gonna have to walk
That's
because
right.
that makes you go out there and get those licenses real quick. You know, I'm not gonna change certain fundamentals just because I can.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people created a narrative just because we can. There are some fundamentals about some of those lessons that help me to learn how to live and exist simultaneously. So it's about, now that I know better, I'm going to teach my son a balance. You like we've been saying, it's you got to find a way here where one is not here and one is here.
Right.
So I think we've fallen in love with the idea of creating this perfect world for them, and it's hurting them in many ways.
Yeah.
I don't know where they do that at,
The,
but
the,
They do it a lot of places.
I'm talking about.
Look, I'm dealing with the adults who think life is still perfect.
I know. No, I'm just saying. I'm just
It's-
speaking for my household.
somewhere along the line, it got lost in translation. What worked stopped working, or like you said, you start creating a fantasy, and that's where the failure came in. First of all, when you took the prayer out of school, and see now it's down to the point to where you have to. Teachers are afraid of the students, and the students think they're entitled. You think you can talk back and do this, do that. The structure is gone. It's like nobody wants to sit there and define and say, hey, this is what you should do as a teacher. Okay, and this is what you have to do as a student. And if you violate this, this is what's going to happen. I don't know what to do. Okay, well, you go to the office. Well, I just hold you in there until the next period. No, find out what's going on, what's the root of it, and then fix it. But now we're in a stage to where you can't really tell somebody about their kids because they ready to fight you. So it's like I just want to come to you and say, hey, this is what's going on.
Can I say something right quick?
Go ahead.
And maybe I'm off on the cuff on this one, but the initial question when Mario asks, we setting our kids up to fail or not to fail, but how we setting them up just to exist. And the Bible says that as the generations come forth, they become weaker and wiser, and that's what we're living. We're living in the days where they're weak, but they have a lot of knowledge. We can all learn from one generation to another, but a lot of times we're not slow to listen as an adult, a parent, and as far as the children, we say microwave, but they always have a television in front of them. They always have the video games in front of them, and they feel that these virtual worlds are their actual world, and it does not exist like that. My virtual world was the party line on the phone. That was my virtual world. And like you said, like you all said, we had structure in school,
On the phone.
but the generations are weaker and wiser. That's what keeps hitting my head when the question was initially posed, because like we all said, we give them everything. However, are we giving them character? Are we developing their moral value? What are we giving them other than the things? I know with me, I gave my son structure. I gave him value. He was a hard worker until his life was taken. He was developing that in his children. Little did I know he was paying attention to me. My grandchildren know the model prayer. I didn't know he taught them that until they started reciting it to me. So it's certain things that you hold on to that was taught to you that you pass on to your children, and then before you know it, they're passing on to their children. It's just what values do you hold? What is more to you that you kept going after you had your children? That's what I
Mhm.
want to say about it.
So then let me ask this question. So I know we hit what existing, but what is living? What is defined as living? Like when we say living, we went from existing to living. What is living? Is living a better part of life, or is living doing what? How can we define living?
You know, it's amazing you asked that because I was wondering that. I was like, everybody talking about they living their life to the fullest. Even you said that, Mario, and I'm like,
Right,
that looks different for everybody.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious, what does living life to the fullest look like for, even us here on the panel?
Walking in my truth,
Mm-hmm.
being at peace, for understanding that what it takes to have peace. When I say walking in my truth, I don't shy away from having tough conversations if I need to. I'm very prayerful about things now, though. I don't speak out of line. I pray before I have certain conversations. I'm praying as we're even talking now on the panel. God is real in my life, not what it used to be when I was existing. It was a convenience. Now I carry God with me even when I'm inconvenienced. I carry peace with me even when that's the priority, is to protect the peace, to connect the covenant so that I can be a better parent, so that I can be a better friend, so that I can be a better listener, so that I can be more resourceful to people, because you can't hear if you never listen. You can't see if you never look. If everything's just only from your vision, your 2020, then you're not seeing around you. You never know what's going on around you. I'm always cognizant of, God, are you telling me, what are you leading me to do in this situation? Why is this opportunity presented? Why are we here on this panel? Is this where you want me to be? So nothing I do anymore in living was like it was when I was existing. When I was existing, I didn't care what I said to you, right? I didn't care how I behaved as long as I was having fun. I'm selfless now and not selfish as much. I know when to be selfish because it requires it sometimes, but I try to be present in the moment. And I'll just tell y'all, the cell phone for me, the social media is awesome, but I've learned how to make it a tool to promote my business or what I needed to do, but it's not something I have to have all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, Lisa, I was finding myself like the kids. I'm off at dinner with y'all and I'm on the phone. Ooh, y'all see what so and so. And I had to catch that. I was not living, I was existing, because I was always glued to a phone or looking up something or like my focus was never on what was happening in front of me, and life was just passing me by. So intentionally every day waking up with the intention to live that day to the fullest. Every day is intentional for me now.
I agree. That was great, Tisha. Tisha, right?
Yes, yes.
Tisha. You know, I think death has a way of, it's the great equalizer, as they say. And
Yes.
and it and
Exactly. Agree with
losing
you,
two
Roger.
children tragically really put life in proper perspective.
Mhm.
People, I know people now that get up every day like they're gonna live to be 200.
Mhm.
They just they just have no purpose. They like it's a lot of people living reckless now. It's a lot of perversion. It's just off the chain.
Off the chain.
And I just think that people don't understand that we're only put here for a certain amount of time.
That's it.
And we got to give account in the end for what we did here to live.
Mhm.
That's
This
it.
what I want to share before, and this is going to kind of be my final comment, is what John 10:10 said,
Mm-hmm.
is I God was telling us, I have come
Mhm.
that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly.
Abundantly.
Yeah.
What does more abundantly look like, though?
Him
More abundantly, and
more
I'm
than
reading from some notes that I got. means to have a superabundance of a thing.
Mhm.
Abundant life refers to life in its abounding fullness of
Mhm.
joy,
Mm-hmm.
strength for the spirit, soul, and
Mhm.
body.
Mhm.
And that's basically how I want to live the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Now, don't
Yes.
get me wrong. Living life to the fullest to me is it's some places I want to see God, and
Mhm.
I'm getting very specific about my prayers. Y'all don't laugh because I'm like God. I ain't talking about read them in a book, seeing the pictures. I want to see the most
Yep.
beautiful places in the world that
Yes.
your hands have created
Yes.
Mhm.
before I leave this earth.
Yes.
I mean, I can see all of them in a book. I'm talking. I want to physically.
Well,
So that's
touch
part
it.
of my
Yep.
living life to the fullest and more abundantly, and then helping people. You know, when I get to those beautiful retreats, I don't want to just go out there and lay in the sun. I say, God, put somebody there that I can minister to or that I can encourage. You
Right.
know, the things that you've allowed me to go through.
Right.
It wasn't just for Roxy, and it's not just for you all. The things we
Mhm.
go through, 95% of it is for somebody else,
For
for us
somebody.
to help somebody else get through it. And so when I get to those beautiful resorts, I said, God, put somebody in my path
Mhm.
that I can encourage.
Mhm.
That's my truth, T.
Mhm. Yep.
And that's what living life more abundantly means to me.
Same page. I listen to a motivational speaker every day, and it says, "Picture yourself in your grave, in your coffin."
Wow.
And most people won't do that because they're afraid of the thought.
That's
But
deep.
I picture myself dead every day. What am I missing? What did I do? What did I fulfill what God told me to do today, or did I do what I wanted to do? But when he said that, picture yourself in your coffin every day at your own funeral. Did you live your best life today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna go back to my initial statement earlier.
Good.
Is that we're here on assignment, and
Yep.
that assignment has to be fulfilled. And if you don't know what your assignment is, then that's a conversation you need to have with Christ. What is my assignment while I'm here on the earth?
Mhm.
And let that be fulfilled.
Mhm.
And if I'm fulfilling His assignment, then
Mhm.
that's enough for me to be fulfilling my life journey. Because like you said, we only here for a certain length of time. We don't know. He said He knew our ending before our beginning. So He knew how in the story would end. But what
Mhm.
did you do in between those years, those times? And now I don't live day by day, as everybody say. I live by moment. I saw my son 30 minutes before he was murdered. So that's a moment for me. So every day, if it's 5 minutes, that's a moment. If it's 30 minutes, that's a moment. I don't live day by day. I live by moment.
Mhm.
And so I think with me, when I say living full is like when you go from poverty to like living, like say living on the streets, and then you get a house flat with a roof, four walls, and a bed. To me, that was living it up,
Mm-hmm.
because going 3 years without all those materialistic type things, and then you get it, then you feel like you're living. I mean, to be able to eat regular food on a
That's
normal
right.
basis, that was
Free.
living a life. I mean, that to
Free.
me, that was living a life. So it's like one of those things. Like I understood the assignment that God gave me, so that's why
Mm-hmm.
I stay focused, and I'm not a materialistic type of person.
Mhm.
I mean, the basics, just the basics, make me happy. You know,
Mhm.
Yes.
I don't have to drive a Rolls Royce. I could drive by a bicycle. I mean, as long as I'm moving forward, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So I mean, but that's one of those things to where, like you said, it's like living your life to the fullest is, and like and I say this because like right now we have people that live paycheck to paycheck, and they think that they're okay. But in reality, living paycheck to paycheck, it's just a matter of time before something catches you off guard. And I think that's one of those things that people have to understand. But materialistic things are not the things that are going to make your life
Important. Mm-mm.
living it to the fullest.
Mm-mm.
It's
No.
understanding what you're here on this earth to do and to be, and living that to the extreme fullest. And that's why I said that, we hit it hard today. I'm like, man, this is great. This is awesome. Um, I know, like we're gonna let Eric. I know Marcel. What is living life to the fullest? What does that mean to y'all?
for me, living life to the fullest is waking up. I'm a simple man. I don't do gifts and this, that, and the third. I love, for me, waking up is waking up and thanking God for being here, making sure I'm good. So then I'll roll over and I ask her if she's good. So once that is, I can get my day started, and my day consists of trying to do everything I can to be the example. Because if I'm the example, then I can hold him accountable for his actions. And that's only if I'm leading by example. And also the second thing I do is I make sure I help as many people. I be as kind to as many people as I can, cause I'm a jokester. I just got the VA called me today, and I just had her and the supervisor laughing. She said, "May I speak to Bostic? Birthday this, and this." I said, "No, I don't even know who you are." And she just paused. I said, I'm just playing. And she just started laughing. See, that made my day. I accomplished something. I'm always doing that. And that's how I live my life to the fullest. See, I made even some people on the panel smile. That's what I want to do. I want to make people smile, laugh to keep from crying. That's my mission. I've seen it, and he's talked to me. That's what I want to do. I want to make people smile. I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you to be down. No, be up. Have fun. Live life to the fullest, not with the material things, but for what you were put on this earth for. And for me is to be nice to and kind to as many people as possible and make them laugh in the process. I make sure I'm good, because you got to be good yourself before you can make sure everybody else good.
That's
And
for
then
sure.
I immediately roll over and I ask her if she's good. If she's good, it's time to get up. It's time to stretch. It's time to get on that grind and to make people happy. Now, you can't make them happy if you're not. It starts within. You can't make them happy if you're not happy. You can't make them smile if you're not smiling. And you sure can't make them laugh if you weren't just laughing before you try to tell them, before you try to make them laugh. And I do it all day, all night. I want to make people happy, and that's how I live my life to the fullest. And my wife will tell you, for these phones, I done already left this joker twice. The only reason why I got it is so I can keep in contact with my wife and the people that love me, so they can call me. And if I tell you can call me anytime, I mean that. Call me anytime. I just gotta remember that I don't put my phone down. I just lost it yesterday?
Right.
Twice.
He had short-term memory, so it's like he went to the post office, he went to go get a stamp, he put it on top of the stamp machine, walk out, we get all the way down Cliffdale Road. And he was like, they called my phone won't ring. I was like, oh my God. So then he went back and they was trying to catch him before he left. Then we went to the grocery store today. He went and paid for it. He left the phone on where the cash register was. And I'm like, babe. I'm like, you just put your phone in your pocket or put it in my purse, you know what I'm saying? Because he be forgetting. So, but
real quick.
Go ahead.
But in the midst of that, when I went back to the post office, I asked later, I said, did anybody leave a black phone here? She went back and got it. And I looked at the phone. I said, that's not my phone. And she just looked. I said, I'm just playing. Thank you. And they all laughed. Everybody in the post office got a laugh. I said, I did my job.
Well, living for me, what it means for me to live is, first of all, knowing what peace and feels and look like, and then being able to wake up every day and accomplish some of the things that I've always wanted to do, because it's easier to say, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to become. And also, I do a lot in the community, and I love people. I love helping people. I love giving. And if I can just touch one person, then I feel like that's living for me. You know what I'm saying? Because, and like you said, going back on the materialistic thing, we can't take none of that stuff with us. But like I said, as long as I can help others, that's living for me. And be able to accomplish some of the things that I want to do. And Roxy, you said you want to go on some vacation and stuff like that. When you going?
I'll get with you.
Yeah, let us know. We can do.
Look, we
We
gonna
like
connect.
traveling.
We're gonna
Look,
connect
Yeah.
on here.
look, we like traveling.
It's time for us to start taking some vacations. Because again, like I said, everybody on the panel knows besides you, we've been raising my grandson. All the kids are grown now. We've been raising my grandson. Now he's 17. And I think that me and my husband, we made sure that he was okay. And every decision that we made filtered through him. So now it's like he's to that age now where we trying to get him where he needs to be. And so now we're going to start continuing to live, not live, but we're going to continue to live and go out here and enjoy life because it's things that we want to do and we want to see as well too.
We're gonna name our travel group "Living Life to the Fullest."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Look,
I know, right?
look, all the way to the fullest. Look, shoot.
Look, Eric said in parentheses, my piece is priceless. They have a T-shirt saying my piece is priceless.
Hello.
Front, living life to the fullest. My piece is priceless
Look.
on the back.
Traveling with peace.
There you go. There you go, T.
Look, yeah,
we traveling with peace.
Yes.
But you know, the end. I know we got to end soon, but I think the challenge now, since this is Mental Health Awareness Month, is how do you get people who are depressed or with mental health challenges to actually buy into living their life? You know, living their life and not just existing. Because see, there's so much involved in that.
Yeah, it is.
So are you talking on a personal level or a professional level? Because
I think both. Because I don't know about you all, but it's people in my family with mental health challenges and then have been depressed.
Yeah.
For one reason, it's people depressed right now because they can't afford to get no gas. They can't. Some people have terminal illnesses. Some people, children sick. Some people just lost their job. You know what I mean? So it's like the challenge is out here now because mental health challenges are so huge. Is to get people to how do we it's like T said, it's a character thing where people can see something in us that makes them want to live and not just exist.
Our transparency,
that's all I want to do.
Roxy, our transparency, being able to be transparent in the situation. Would you say? I would say that would be a key. Just your transparency and Lisa's transparency about your grief of that testimony in and of itself will make somebody come down off of, oh my God, just what I thought was so awful. You see what I mean? I think sometimes our testimonies, our transparency about our truths, that's why I said walking in truth, helps people to see, oh my gosh, she don't look like what she been through. We wouldn't have got on this phone and thought you've lost 2 children, Roxy. We wouldn't have got on the phone and known that Lisa lost her son last year.
Wow.
Those testimonies, even today, fill this space and humbled me in a way to say, I was grieving over my friends and went through this, and it took me to a dark place, right? But part of that I didn't tell y'all was because my dad has been dead for 25 years and I never grieved him properly.
Ooh.
And so what happens is, where I think that story, how you connect and you bring people, is you teach them what not grieving looks like. But then you show them what grieving looks like. Because grieving is healthy.
Yes.
Not grieving is unhealthy.
No.
It is.
Okay. And so that's what we shared. Yeah, it was tough, but it was necessary. Right? So I think that's how I would say we help people through our transparency, through our testimony, and to understand. And I always throw a joke in there too, Eric. I'll tell people, why you think tears so salty and nasty when they get on your tongue when you're crying? Because you need to let that mess out your body.
That's right.
And there's two. I want to add 2 things too. For me, I think dealing with people that like kind of like flock to me, it's because I'm a good listener. Number one, sometimes if we just listen, and then we understand. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't always have to be in that situation to be under to know how, you know, to be understanding. So I think for me, it's like to help people with mental health, and you know, whether it be professional or it be personal. I think that we need to be good listeners, and I think that we need to be understanding and sympathetic as well. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think.
Well, it's
I
like
want to add
like
to
they
that
all
too.
say.
I agree with the
Say,
Lisa, you're
I
fading
agree
out.
with the
Yeah.
testimony.
Mm-hmm.
We help one another with our testimonies of helping. Sharing case per scenario. I'm in grieving counseling right now. I'm not ashamed about it. My counselor, we're fit for one another. I thank God for her. And I have shared with my family. You need, especially my father. He's got, he's a Vietnam vet, and he's
We lost her.
because she's driving, and the signal
Mhm.
dropped out.
Okay.
It's being a living. It's called being a living testimony, and people flock to you because they see your aura. They see that you're an approachable person. And sometimes I dealt with a lot of people
somehow
that just
lost
wanted
connection.
somebody
Yeah,
to listen.
I
So,
lost connection.
go ahead.
Okay, I guess what is you're going in and out because I think you're moving.
So my father, he's a Vietnam vet, and he talked about he always talking about his trauma, and I'm not negating his trauma at all, but he lost not only my son last year, but his namesake in 2019. So he hasn't grieved, and I say it's
Lisa, you're cutting out. You're going in and out.
We have so many tickets out here. I'm cutting out again.
Yeah.
We couldn't hear. We didn't understand anything you just
I'm
said.
sorry. I had to leave.
It's
I was at
okay.
a park and they were closing down. But
Oh,
the reason a lot of like there was earlier comments were being said, there's a lot of ticking time bombs out here of people because they suppress their emotions, they suppress what they've gone through, they suppress how they feel, and because they suppress them so much, anything else they try to suppress is like a boiling pot. It's about to explode. And so that's why all these people are exploding and don't know how to put their emotions in the right perspective because they don't want to get help. It's taboo in our community, but it shouldn't be. I encourage anybody. I've encouraged all my son's friends. Go get counseling. You need it. I can pray. I can counsel you too, but I'm in counseling as well. But what you need professionals to help you, to give you the necessary tools to help you.
Yes.
And you can be a better citizen in the society. You can be a better person in your community, in your generation, if you get the necessary help. And it's necessary that we continue to push that envelope to tell young, old, it doesn't matter the age, get the help.
Get it.
the
You'd be
help.
surprised.
I had to stretch my leg, guys. I don't know. You don't know, Rox. I had broke my leg, so I have to sometimes I have to get up. I have to get up sometime and walk because I broke my leg, so I had to get up and stretch.
Oh wow! I
Yeah.
hope you heal fast.
I'm starting to heal better.
We're gonna give Eric an assignment to come back with a joke every time.
I could do that.
Oh Lord, no.
Right off the rip. Right off the rip.
Look, y'all.
Hey.
Look,
Everybody that know my husband. Look.
so look, Eric. I did find one. I googled about living life to the fullest. Since we keep seeing all these people wearing pajamas out to Walmart and everywhere,
And bonnets.
and bedroom shoes. I happened to see the joke today. It says, I can't decide if people who wear pajamas in public have given up on life or living life to the fullest. So there we have it. Eric, it's on you next time.
It wrapped up.
Oh, I will have one.
That summarizes the whole thing right there.
That's
That's
it.
the truth, though. That's the truth.
But you won't catch Roxy out there with no
Oh
pajamas.
no.
No.
I know that's
No
right. Never.
No, I don't care if the bonnet got 24 karat on it. You ain't
No.
catch me with no bonnet on my head, no
No.
bathing shoes, and certainly not no pajamas.
Right.
Not even the mailbox. I can't even. I
No.
put on a
No.
pair of hoops to go to the mailbox, y'all.
That's right.
My husband just went out. I think it was Walmart. He came home and he said, "Roxy, do you not know I saw a full-grown woman with one of the onesies on with the little kid, the little child, grandchild, somebody with her?"
That's how many
And the grandchild had on the onesie, and she had on the onesie. I said, "You know what? You should have said, is it an early Halloween party somewhere?"
I had a friend recording some people in the Atlanta airport, y'all, Sunday. She had on the silk pajama. Do you know the short set silk pajamas?
No.
On the short set silk pajamas, bedroom shoes, and the matching bonnet.
See
You
why
see
I
that
found that joke?
You see that in ATL a lot. Like
Yeah,
in
I said
ATL,
Atlanta off the chain.
and especially in that airport, you see everything in that airport.
Everything.
Everything.
Don't
Fast
talk about
of
that
life,
lady. Don't
everything.
talk about that lady. She be an example for her grandchild. She set the
Yeah.
example. Leave her alone.
She can wear them all day long, but Roxy won't.
Teaching them how to live.
She
Look,
be an
if I
example
got to
for her
live,
grandchild.
if that
Live comfortable.
Keisha, if that's a requirement to live life to the fullest,
I'm
I'm done.
going to
I'm good.
existence.
I'll take existing, Alex. I'll take existing.
I'm gonna go
I'm
right
not
back
doing
to
it.
existing if that's living.
I'm existing now. No, I'm good now. I'm good.
And I got something to say real quick. I know that we're like, even when we was younger, I think I was probably like maybe like 17. My mom asked me, everybody that's everybody from Fayetteville, on the corner of Rayford Road and Skybo, there was a Hardee's there. So me and my mom used to work at the same job, right? So I rolled my hair up. My mom was like, "Sarah, can you go down to Hardee's and pick me up a burger?" And I was like, "Mom, I just rolled my hair up, right?" And she was like, "Girl, you can put a scarf on." I took every roller out my head because I was not going down there with no rollers and no
Right.
scarf.
Get off
So
if
I
it's
was doing
emergency.
this at the age of 17 years old. So I know I ain't gonna walk out with no bonnet
No.
on at no age 56 years old. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Yeah.
no.
That's why I tell jokes now, because my mama scarred me. She bust
Yep.
up in that joker with a pink robe and them big, old, juicy pink rollers up in there. It's like, who mom is that? I start speaking Spanish. Me don't know.
So y'all know my family's from Lumberton, right? And so those Indian women used to stay up in the store with them big colorful rollers.
My mama gave me scoliosis, boy. When she came in that school, I did just like that. I don't know.
I don't know
Who
her.
mama is that? I don't even know. Is that your mom? No. I'll punch you in the face. Say it again. I don't know who mama that is.
Well, this was great.
I think
Ladies and
that's
gentlemen.
about to do with your character too. That's your
Yeah.
character when you walk up and you
That's
walk up
your
to Walmart with them darn. I don't care what nobody say. Man, bye.
That's your
Well,
character.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we were past our 1 hour.
Yep.
I know I got an 8 o'clock.
Yay.
10 minutes. So again, this was another great show. I know Roxy, Lisa. Look, glad to see both of y'all.
Yeah.
I know
back,
Roxy,
I'm
this is your
back.
first. I know
Please
Lisa,
come
you've been on here before, but to see y'all both, I mean, hey, y'all, everyone, y'all gave some great input. I know a lot of people. I sat here and watched how people were popping in, popping out. I was just paying attention, and there was actually a couple of young people watching this as well, so that was a plus.
Oh, good.
So I was like, okay, so I just was paying attention to the audience. That's why I kept looking off to the side because I saw how people was going back and forth on Facebook.
Oh, hey, Mario, did you see? Isn't Carrie Kerman a minister?
Yeah, Miss Cat.
She commented on there and said each one on this panel said living for them is helping others. That's living when you're not selfish. That's the light of Christ in each of you.
Yes, I put it up there. I'm not sure if y'all saw it, but I put it up there when she said it.
I wanted to read that because
Yeah.
that's the difference. So, yep.
Right here, yeah. Because I put it up when we were talking, and I just popped up the message as they were coming in.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be a guest. This was so wonderful.
And we want you to come back.
Yeah,
Well-
well, hey, just invite me.
Okay.
Oh, we
So it's a standing invitation.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
Okay, we'll see about that one.
You've been recruited. You and Lee.
I feel like I'm at home. I already feel like family. So that's a
Oh,
good
that's
thing.
yeah. Yeah,
Thank
we
you all.
You're
we
so
love
welcome.
you too.
Thank you, Mario.
All right. Well, look, we'll see each other next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once again, y'all hold on 1 second for everybody that's watching us. We'll see y'all next time. Or we're gonna go backstage real quick, and I'm gonna say a few things, and then we're gonna go from there. But everybody say bye to everybody that's on social media.
Thank y'all for
See
joining.
y'all next
Thank y'all
time.
for
Thank you
joining.
for
Good night,
joining,
everyone.
everybody.
Look, love.